When a celebrity dies, it's not always an old legend quietly passing away. It's awful when we see our favorite stars die young, but it's also natural to be curious, and most of us never let the facts get in the way of a great story.
I thought you were dead.
My death was greatly exaggerated.
What's happening? I'm your host, the Notorious Nick, and today we're looking at the most shocking celebrity deaths that we've ever seen. Some people might say we should let them rest in peace, but hey, our crack team of crackpots aren't some people. We owe it to the viewers to seek the truth. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button in the bottom right-hand corner and subscribe to our channel for more. And let us know what you think of our video by leaving us a comment. So grab your notebook, unplug your phone, and draw your shades, because it's time to find out
What happened?
Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke's breakout single, Welcome to the Party, began appearing on mixtapes featuring artists such as Nicki Minaj and Skepta. But before his world tour could kick off, 4 hooded men entered his home in the early morning and shot him twice in the chest. The rapper had ties to the Crips street gang, and the LAPD initially thought the home invasion was gang-related. But their investigation revealed that when Smoke and his friend Mike D posted pictures flashing bling online, his home address was clearly visible.
That's the type of vibe we give off, you know what I'm saying? From the older dogs to the younger dogs, just flossing.
3 adult men and 2 minors were arrested for the killing, which appears to be a robbery gone wrong. The trial is currently in progress, but bougie or not, maybe you should think twice before posting photos of your new Ferrari on Instagram. Anna Nicole Smith, the blonde bombshell who was crowned the 1993 Playboy Playmate of the Year and the face of Guess Jeans. But when Anna attempted to transition to acting, she was mainly typecast as a buxom bimbo. And when she married 86-year-old oil tycoon J. Howard Marshall, disapproving housewives and gossip columnists also began labeling her as a gold digger.
They think I'm a gold digger, and they think that I'm fat. Well, maybe I'm a little big boned.
Smith denied the allegations and swore that the two were deeply in love. She claimed that Marshall had verbally promised to put her in his will, but when he died 13 months later, Smith lost a lengthy court battle to claim her share of his estate. She was forced to file bankruptcy and died in 1997 of an apparent overdose. She left behind an infant daughter and several men claiming to be the father. The birth certificate listed Smith's live-in partner, Howard K. Stern, as the father, but photographer Larry Burkhead claimed that she was his daughter, and this was later confirmed by a DNA test. Some of the other people claiming paternity included Smith's former bodyguard, and surprisingly, even Zsa Zsa Gabor's husband, Prince Frederick von Anhalt. Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee seemed invincible on screen, but on May 10th, 1973, he was rushed to the hospital in Hong Kong during production of Enter the Dragon. He had collapsed twice and was having headaches and seizures. Doctors were unable to revive him, and during his autopsy, they discovered an excessive amount of painkillers and tranquilizers. Lee's official cause of death was death by misadventure, a term often used to describe accidental overdoses. Lee's checkered past led to some interesting theories, such as a conspiracy by the Chinese Triad, and even a curse on his family.
The ideal is unnatural naturalness or natural unnaturalness.
People point to more evidence when his son Brandon was accidentally killed on set while filming The Crow in 1994. But new information suggests that Lee suffered an adrenaline crisis due to overuse of cortisone and died of a heat stroke. You see, Lee had his underarm sweat glands surgically removed because he didn't want pit stains on film, and experts suggest that overheating contributed to his demise. Natalie Wood. It was easy to fall in love with Natalie Wood, but her turbulent marriage to Robert Wagner soon ended in divorce. Friends of the couple say that Wagner had a temper and was jealous when she flirted with others. Natalie dated some very eligible bachelors after their divorce, including Warren Beatty, Michael Caine, and David Niven. Then Wood and Wagner remarried, And during the 1970s, she put acting on hold to focus on their relationship. But in 1981, Wood was shooting Brainstorm with Christopher Walken, who joined the couple on their yacht for a weekend cruise. The following morning, she was found dead by drowning and hypothermia, approximately a mile away from the boat. Allegedly, she had gone out on a small inflatable dinghy when she tumbled overboard. Her autopsy revealed a blood alcohol level of 0.14, as well as pain and motion sickness medication. Wood's sister, Lana, stated that she was terrified of the water and would not have willingly gone out on her own. Natalie's body also had bruises and abrasions consistent with a struggle. The case was reopened in 2011 when the yacht's captain admitted to lying to police during the investigation. He said Wagner was jealous of Walken and argued with Wood that night. He also said he wasn't allowed to turn on his searchlights or immediately report her disappearance.
I actually don't think, I think she was dead when she hit the water.
The cause of death was amended to drowning and other circumstances. In 2018, Wagner was named a person of interest by the police, but no charges have been filed. David Carradine. Kung Fu star David Carradine was hardly a has-been in 2003, but was mostly starring in straight-to-video action flicks. But that all changed when Quentin Tarantino cast him as the treacherous title character in Kill Bill. As Kill, or maybe it was Bill, but many considered him a front-runner for an Academy Award. Then in 2009, during production of the film Stretch, Carradine was found dead by hanging in his Bangkok hotel room in an apparent suicide. Two of his former wives soon came forward to report that his sexual proclivities included a taste for bondage and S&M.
One moment, I'm meditating.
And police determined that the death was simply a case of autoerotic asphyxiation gone wrong. Through an attorney, the Carradine family requested to be allowed to mourn in peace. Then a year after Carradine's death, his widow Annie filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Stretch's producers. The lawsuit claimed that they neglected to provide Carradine the assistance he needed on location, and that he was left behind for dinner on the night of his death. The studio settled the case for $400,000. Brittany Murphy. In the 1990s, Brittany Murphy was quickly proving to be more than just another pretty face. She had appeared in critically acclaimed films, Broadway shows, and even voiced the lovable but clueless Luann Platter in King of the Hill.
Your hair is so sexy. It reminds me of sex.
After her highly publicized relationship with Ashton Kutcher, Murphy married screenwriter Simon Monjack in 2007, and the couple shared a home with her mother, Sharon. But in 2010, Murphy quickly succumbed to pneumonia, and her autopsy also revealed anemia. 4 months later, Monjack died of the same condition. Both Sharon Murphy and the coroner dismissed the idea that the deaths were caused by mold in their home, but Sharon later changed her mind and sued the attorneys who represented her in a previous lawsuit against the home builders. In 2012, Brittany Murphy's estranged father, Angelo Bertolotti, alleged that the two were intentionally poisoned and requested a sample of her hair for independent testing. The Superior Court of California dismissed the suit after he failed to show up for 2 separate hearings. Biggie. In 1997, Chris Wallace was gunned down in what most people thought was retaliation for the killing of his rival Tupac Shakur 6 months earlier.
We two individual people, we waged a coastal beef.
The East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry of the 90s had many connections to the Crip and Blood street gangs, and the murders seemed to simply be more casualties of a violent turf war that dates back to the late 1960s. The details of what happened are a matter of public record, but the details of why it happened are a different story. Even though the drive-by shooting seems like an act of retaliation, no evidence has been found directly linking Biggie to Tupac's murder. The primary suspect suspect was an alleged member of the Southside Crips, but some journalists argue that the murder was part of an unrelated business deal and wasn't officially sanctioned by the gang. No criminal charges were ever filed in the murder. Allegations of police corruption and ties to organized crime have been widespread, and some people even suggest that the murders were ordered directly by the record companies. You know, there's an old industry joke that artists are worth more dead than alive, and it's hard to ignore the success of both artists' posthumous albums. Princess Di. The world was fascinated by Charles and Princess Di's storybook wedding, but after a few years, their marital struggles were becoming increasingly difficult to hide. There was a significant age difference between the royal couple.
I went upstairs, had lunch with my sisters who were there, and I said, I can't marry, I can't do this.
And Charles soon began picking up right where he left off with his old girlfriend Camilla. Diana had affairs of her own, and in 1995, Charles agreed to a divorce at the urging of the Queen after Diana aired their dirty royal laundry on the BBC. Diana remained in Kensington Palace and continued many of her official responsibilities as she moved on. She was dating Egyptian film producer Dodi Al Fayed, and the couple were on vacation in Paris when their driver Henry Paul crashed their Mercedes sedan evading paparazzi. All three were pronounced dead on arrival. Police determined that Paul was solely responsible for the crash and was intoxicated and under the influence of prescription drugs. Prior to the wreck, he had also taunted the paparazzi while waiting for the couple outside the hotel. Kurt Cobain. In the early 90s, the headbangers quaked in their snakeskin boots as Seattle's finest marched onto the scene in their Doc Martens and flannel. Hair metal was on its way out, and most people credit Nirvana for introducing grunge rock to the world. With so much going for him, it was hard to fathom that Kurt Cobain would take his own life. Or did he? Cobain's struggles with depression and drug abuse weren't a secret, and the suicide note at the scene made it an open and shut case for the police. But leave it to the fans to extensively study the evidence. There are theories that record executives, or even Cobain's own wife, Courtney Love, had him killed and staged the suicide as a cover-up. But foul play was never suspected, and the case remains closed.
I thought maybe we should hire a lawyer to stop them to do it, then instead I just decided to hire a hitman.
The note appears to be in Cobain's handwriting, but some say that a couple of lines at the bottom look like last-minute additions. There are theories that Cobain was announcing his plans to leave the music business, and that the killer added the writing to the alleged suicide note to cover his tracks. Cobain's friends and fans say that a shotgun didn't seem like his style. It would have been more likely for him to overdose, either on purpose or accidentally. Perhaps we'll never know if Kurt Cobain intended to send a message by killing himself, but most of us can agree that music was never the same after the release of Nirvana's multi-platinum album In Utero. Boy, the mean streets of Hollywood are not for the faint of heart. And not everyone survives. We all miss these talented and colorful people, but can only speculate about what they would have done if they had only lived longer. They might all be gone, but let's make sure they're not forgotten. Which celebrity passing affected you the most? Did we leave someone important out? Well, add them in the comments, and perhaps we'll make a round 2. And give us some ideas for future content as well. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up for us, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on what happened.